everyone, welcome back to my home kitchen. My name is Kaylee. I'm the culinary arts instructor at Employment Horizons, and we finally made it to part 3 of our holiday cookie baking series. Today we're going to be learning how to decorate our sugar cookies. This is my favorite episode because you can be so creative with your cookies. Let's get started, and don't forget the recipe and information about Employment Horizons will be posted at the end of the video. Let's get baking.
For this recipe, we're going to need 2.5 cups of confectionery or powdered sugar, 2 to 4 tablespoons of heavy cream or any type of milk that you like, 8 tablespoons or 1 stick of unsalted room temperature butter, and then 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. You could also use peppermint or almond, whatever you prefer. For equipment, we're going to need a handheld mixer. You could also use a stand mixer or make it by hand. We're going to need a large bowl along with a sifter, a set of measuring cups along with some measuring spoons, and finally a rubber spatula and then an offset spatula. And of course, we can't forget about our sugar cookies and some sprinkles for decoration. You can also use some food dye, but that is optional. So I find it kind of tricky when you're in the middle of decorating cupcakes to fiddle with the caps. So an easy hack for decorating is to take a muffin tin, and I'm just going to go ahead and in the little holes put all of my sprinkles, and I can even make my own custom blend. This just makes life a lot easier. Now that we have all of our equipment and ingredients, let's make some frosting. So let's take a minute to talk about measuring ingredients in grams or ounces. Because baking is an exact science, a lot of times a recipe will have cups and grams. This recipe that I found for buttercream calls for 2.5 cups of powdered sugar or 325 grams. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to place my bowl onto my scale and I'm going to press 0. This is very important because it cancels out the weight of the bowl, so you're only measuring your powdered sugar. And then I'm just going to keep filling until the number on the bottom reads 325 grams. If you don't have a digital scale at home, you can of course use cups. I just wanted to show you the alternative way to measure. So I'm going to keep going, and when I get close to the number, I kind of just stream the sugar in very slowly, and sometimes you go over the number, which I did here, but that's okay because I can just take some out with my fingers until I get back to the correct number. And now our sugar is all ready to go. We're just going to set it aside for now. So I'm going to take my room temperature butter and place it into a large bowl, and then using my mixer, I'm just going to beat it for about a minute or just until it's a little bit lighter in color. If you don't have a mixer, you can absolutely do this process by hand. It will just take a little bit longer and you want to use a whisk. So now I'm just going to go in with a rubber spatula and scrape down the sides of the bowl because as you see, the butter kind of goes up the sides and we want it to be towards the bottom. Now I'm just going to place my sieve directly on the top of my bowl, trying not to touch the butter. And then I like to work in batches, so I'm going to put about 1/4 of my measured sugar into my sieve, and then using my wrist, I'm just going to gently tap on the sieve and all the powdered sugar will fall into my bowl. Very important that you don't skip this step, otherwise you'll have lumpy buttercream. If you don't have a sieve, you can put your sugar into a large bowl and give it a really good mix with a whisk. This is just going to make sure we have a super smooth buttercream. And when I get to the end, I just like to press out all the additional lumps with my fingers, and that's how you sieve powdered sugar. Next, we're going to start off by just adding 1 tablespoon of heavy cream. We're probably going to need more, but I'll talk about that later. Then I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of desired extract. I'm using vanilla. The purpose of the heavy cream in our mixture is to thin everything out. When we're making sugar cookies, we want a buttercream that's easily spreadable but not super thick. So I'm just going to go in and gently give it a mix, and then I'm going to grab my blender. I can already tell that I'm going to need a second and maybe a 3rd or 4th tablespoon, so I'm just going to add 1 right now. And then I'm going to grab my mixer and blend on very low speed. Always start on low. If you don't, you'll get powdered sugar all over your kitchen. I mixed my buttercream for about 3 to 4 minutes. I did add an additional 2 tablespoons of heavy cream, so that leaves us with a total of 4 tablespoons, but depending on the desired consistency you're looking for, you can add more or less. If you do add too much milk, never fear, you can always add more powdered sugar. After about 4 to 5 minutes of mixing, I got to a consistency that I was pretty happy with. It should be about the consistency of very soft spreadable butter or very room temperature cream cheese. The mixture should be light in color, it should be light, fluffy, and airy. It's at this point, if you wanted to use a food coloring, you would add that in. I chose to just keep it simple and keep it white. We have finally made it to my favorite part of the series, decorating the cookies. So I'm just going to set myself up. I have my sprinkles, my cookies, my buttercream, and then just a rack or a plate, and then an offset spatula, or you could use a knife. I'm going to go ahead and grab a cookie and then about a tablespoon or so of buttercream. Sometimes I like to start with a little less and then add more because I find that easier. And you can really be creative with these. A cookie is kind of like a blank canvas when you're painting. You can add as much frosting or as little frosting, lots of sprinkles, no sprinkles. It's really fun and it's a work of art. So just take your time. I find decorating cookies really relaxing. So I'm just going to kind of spread my buttercream onto a rough swirl shape, and then I'm going to go in and decorate it with some colorful sprinkles. I'm going to place my cookie onto my rack and just continue decorating until all of my cookies are used up. You can make this buttercream ahead of time if you were having some friends or family and you wanted to decorate cookies all together. It will last in an airtight container for up to 2 weeks, and same thing with the cookies. You can make them ahead of time, store them in a container for up to 2 weeks, and decorate them, and they will still be fresh and delicious. So here I have all of my finished cookies. These cookies should be stored at room temperature, but if you do want to put them in the fridge, remember butter will get hard and solidify, so make sure you take them out of the fridge about an hour before you want to serve them. These cookies are perfect with a cup of tea or hot chocolate. I am definitely excited to sit down and eat mine. So thank you so much for tuning in to our holiday baking series. I hope you learned something about baking along the way. Happy holidays, everyone. Don't forget the recipes are posted at the end of the video.